So today I'm going to talk about how a girl almost set me up on Tinder in Medellin. But before I get into the story, you guys know how this goes already. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, join the community at thehomieshub.com. Link is in the description. You guys know we are launching the Homies app, an official social media app for the community for men that would like to have a platform to speak on topics, travel, or share information. There's never been anything like that in the entirety of existence. So make sure that you guys join, support. You guys can support the Homies Hub at $Homies Hub. Join the Discord, support the platform. Let's get it. So, this was sometime, I want to say maybe almost 2 years ago now. I invited a girl from Tinder over so that we could basically hang out. Now, I know what you're thinking. You probably think I was trying to get my clapathon on, right? But in fact, that's not what I was trying to do. I really just wanted to hang out. I wanted to do a live stream and I wanted to have a girl on the live stream. And me being naive, I thought, hey, it'll be our first time meeting, but it's okay. You're a girl. I can introduce you to the live stream and it won't be that big of a deal. Now, here's the only problem. When we matched on Tinder and we were basically, we were started talking on WhatsApp, she sent me a video of herself. The girl that ended up coming to my apartment was not the girl that I was talking to on Tinder. Now, I will preface this. This has happened to me two different times. One time in Medellin, another time in Peru. And you guys have to be careful because there is an operation taking place where women tend to do this. So I guess the idea behind the operation is most guys won't even notice nor care that the woman they match with is not necessarily the woman that pulls up in person as long as she's decent. So we were talking, and I recall she didn't really want to get on video, but she sent me a video of herself. So when she was on her way and she finally showed up, the girl just looked different. The girl that I was talking to was a little bit thicker, face was a little bit fuller, but the girl that ended up pulling up was, thinner. I mean, she was okay, she was cute, but I just realized it wasn't the same girl, but she claims that she had lost a lot of weight. That's why she just looks a little bit different. And obviously, I did preface with the whole, hey, come over. I'm not really looking to, pay. If you're looking for a customer or anything like that, it's not really my interest. I just want to hang out and vibe. And she goes, yeah, sure, okay, that's fine with me. Now that's already red flag number one. If you guys know how Medellin is, you really should be wary of the girls that just want to hang out with you and just chill and get to know you. It's complete BS. Okay. She's scheming to some degree. You just need to figure out what the scheme is. Okay. That's not to say it's impossible to hang out with girls off of Tinder without them scheming, but usually when they come straight back to your crib, it's extremely dangerous and I do not recommend it. However, I was going against my own advice at this time because I figured, hey, man, I've been through this a lot. There's a lot of security measures in my building. Even though there is no security, there are some security measures. So I did have her come look into the camera so that her face would be shown, took a picture of her and her ID, and took several pictures of her ID, brought her upstairs, thought it was all good. So then we began the live stream. Now, as we're live streaming, we're hanging out, we're drinking. I'm keeping my drink away from her and her drink is on the other side of the table and we're interacting with the live chat and the chat began trolling. But as the chat began trolling, they actually started triggering her because they started asking her if she was a bandita, meaning was she like a gangster or associated with gangs. They were pointing out all of her tattoos and she went from being cool to dancing and hanging out to being very uncomfortable. Now, she was almost uncomfortable to the point where I could feel like she wanted to get off of live stream. So I asked her, I said, hey, do you want to go into the room and kind of just hang out? And she was very adamant about, yeah, let's just go into the room. Let's just, hang out in the room. So I said, okay. So I kept the stream on because, why not? Good content. So I kept the stream on. We're in the room. And, as we're talking, kind of just trying to get the vibe like, all right, maybe this might, maybe this might advance a little bit more than what I, originally planned. Um, I get a text message on WhatsApp and she's texting me on WhatsApp, but I'm having a whole conversation with her in person and her phone is not in her hand. So I'm looking at her, but I'm looking at the messages and then I'm double checking the messages and I see that the same meetup conversation that me and her were having, right, is like this, it's the same girl. But the girl who's currently in my apartment is not the same person. So then person is texting me basically trying to confirm that I'm still down to meet up and things like that. And this is where things get a little bit scary and a little bit confusing. So I start asking her where's her phone. And she goes, "Oh, my phone doesn't work. I had to have my friend text you for me." And I said, "Your friend texted me for you?" So I start calling the number, right? The number is picks up, starts talking, but I'm not listening because I already know now that this is some bullshit, something's going on. And then she catches on to the fact that I'm actually communicating. I think I showed her the text. This girl or whoever it is sending heart eyes and hearts, but the girl that I'm texting is right in front of me with no phone. So this gets super like superficial and starts getting scary. And then I basically figured out, that this had to be somebody sent her to me. They were basically texting me on her behalf and sent her to me, right? So now I start getting super duper scared and very, very wary. And I'm basically trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And this is all happening on live stream. This is why I took the live stream down, but you can go watch the entire live stream on members. It is up there, so go and check it out. So I start getting super spooked out by what's going on. And now I'm on some like, hey, I think you need to leave. I think you should just go. She's like, no, it's okay. It's my friend. My friend was just texting you for me because my phone doesn't work. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to believe it, but the person texting me on the phone is asking me for the exact address so that they can meet up. And I'm looking, I'm like, did she signal? But I'm like, she didn't have her phone in her hand almost the whole time. So maybe there was a rift in the communication as to whatever was trying to happen. She basically had to scout if there was going to be maybe an opportunity to rob me or scope me or set me up, but it would have been impossible for any gangsters to get into the apartment with basically how the entrance was set up. It's almost impossible to get in or out if you don't have the key. And the key, I tossed the key inside of a whole nother apartment. I had access to two apartments just in case I somehow did get scoped. A whole lot of precautionary shit that you just shouldn't have to do, right, when you're on vacation. But I did this stuff anyway. So I think she just basically saw there really was no opportunity open until we would have went in the room and possibly had sex. So she probably would have waited to see. I had a streaming setup, camera, laptop, phones, a lot of valuable stuff. But whoever was the ringleader of this messed up because they didn't keep track of the fact that they had already sent the girl out to me. So now I basically send the girl home and she's complaining and she's really upset and she's like trying to figure out what's wrong. She just wants to go back upstairs to the room, basically almost trying to offer me some to try to just get us back on better terms. Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you think she might have been trying to give me some pussy for real? Like, I don't know. I just want to know, like, what you think it was? Like, you think she really just kind of just, hey, man, I lost my phone. I just needed my friend to text you. You guys think I overreacted? Or did I just see through the BS? Let me know. Drop it in the comments below. I'm like, nah, you're caught, bitch. It's time for you to get out of here. I'm not falling for this nonsense. And the whole time, maybe she didn't actually have a phone, but whoever was texting me was trying to meet up and probably send another chick my way. Now, something like this did happen to me inside of Peru, and I think I'm going to save that story for members only. So make sure that you guys subscribe to the members only, or you can visit the Homies Hub in become a member where you can get access to everything. So now, what is the swindle going on here that you should be careful about and be on guard about? Number one, you have to be careful because what they do is they have these Tinder rings where people are basically using women to try to finesse the guys in these Latin American countries. And what they basically do is you'll be talking to one chick, you'll try to meet up, and they kind of keep their photos like ambiguous. It's a girl with hair and clothes, but you can't really see her face. There's filter, things like that, right? And then when you guys start talking, she's kind of reluctant to get on video call, or she never really shows her full face on video call. Now, they do this just to the point where it's still believable, right? It's not like the girls that are just like completely blurring and covering out their face to the point where it's suspect, but it's kind of believable, but they never send the same girls to you. So the that they use to lure you in is not usually the girl that gets sent to you, and they'll actually unmatch you, assuming that basically you didn't save any photo of her. So they're banking on the fact that your memory is not that good, and then when a girl shows up, you're kind of basically just trying to figure it out, but they're kind of banking on the fact that you're going to try to have sex with the girl, and you're going to be way too, basically you're going to be thinking with the wrong head before you investigate. Now, in my situation, I was just thirsty for content. I really wasn't looking forward to or necessarily caring about trying to boom boom shorty, but if it did go that way, I wouldn't have been opposed to it. And that's kind of how they get you, right? So I'm gonna suspect that this happens because once you get drugged and robbed, you have no trace of the actual girl that drugged and robbed you. In her situation, as soon as she pulled up, I guess she didn't account for the fact that I was going to take multiple photos of her, have her look into the camera, and basically tell her that there's a whole like security guard that's on watch and like he's going to be on standby. They don't necessarily care, and I don't think they plan that much. So this is where there's going to be a rift in whatever it is that they have going on. I say be careful of this, man. Medi is a great place. It's dope, it's fun, but it can get extremely dangerous when you're thinking with the wrong head. You do have to be on guard. Nothing comes easy, nothing comes fast. You have to be careful because if something comes easy, there's usually always a price that is required to be paid. You have to be super tactical when you're dealing with women, especially women on Tinder. That's not to say every girl on Tinder is a scam or is trying to finesse you. I've met up with a bunch of girls on Tinder and it's been great vibes, all safety, and they came through and it was exactly whatever they said it was. But you do have to know that these rings do exist, whether they're ran by the Venezuelan gangs or they're ran by like the Colombian gangs. There are groups that do use Tinder to try to lure men, and it's usually scopolamine, just straight up robbery where they drop the pin or the location and some guys pull up and rob you. You just really have to be careful because the girl is basically going to be scouting the area, scouting the security, scouting your sense of security, and then she's going to be on that phone. And a huge thing for me is when I'm bringing girls over, there's no phone action. Okay, definitely got to get off the phone. You got to turn the phone off. Or what I would usually do is I would meet them at one location that isn't my house, vet them out, feel out the energy, tell them that they would have to be turning their phone off. They couldn't have their phone. I don't care if your house is on fire. You better go deal with that shit at another time. Turn the phone off, and then we can then Uber from wherever we meet up at to wherever our destination is at. And I typically do this when I would basically not have 24-hour security. Now, to be super safe, I usually recommend you book two different places, especially if you're a guy like me that travels with equipment. Just have a space that's basically the boom boom spot. That's not the place where you keep all of your stuff. Now, in this case, I was streaming, so obviously all of my streaming gear would have been at the crib, and that would have been enough to set me up. But just a story that I'm sharing with you guys. Be safe, man. Be careful. I love Colombia, but some of those dangers and how on guard you have to be is just not some of the things that I personally enjoy and not one of the things I'm looking forward to when I return. Especially just because of that, I don't think I would ever consider living inside of Colombia long term, especially not after living in Thailand, where I feel virtually safe. I know 99% of the time, women are not going to steal unless you really give them a good opportunity to steal from you. It's really not going to happen. But besides that, let me know your thoughts, man. Let me know if you guys have gone through something similar. I definitely want to hear from you guys, and you know, stay funky, man. It's your boy. Peace.